Welcome back to my channel, All Things Love Joy, and today we're making Quesa Birria tacos with Tapatio Ramen. These are all the ingredients, too many to mention, so I'll be sure to list everything in the description box below. So let's get into it, guys. I am starting with 2 pounds of chuck roast. I prefer this cut of meat for the recipe because normally chuck roast is on sale at your local grocery store and it always turns out nice and tender. I've never had any issues with this cut of meat. I like to start with rinsing the meat, and just to clean it a little bit better, I use lemon juice. And I know there's a debate on whether or not you should clean your meat or not, but I'm gonna go with yes on that one. Let's get it clean and prepped. Here I am just cutting down the chuck roast just to make it a little bit more manageable when I'm browning in my skillet, and adding a little seasoning, a little garlic powder, garlic pepper, and I am also adding Sazon just to give it an extra kick. After allowing the seasonings to set a little bit, I like to massage it in, and I do this to both sides just to make sure that the seasonings are well combined. Over a medium-high heat, go ahead and heat up your olive oil in your cast iron skillet if you have one. After heating for about 5 minutes or so, you want to go ahead and add your chuck roast so that it can start to brown. I try to let each side brown for about 5 minutes or so, give or take. We want to make sure that the chuck roast is golden brown on all sides in preparation for the slow cooker. The next step is to prepare our chiles. I am going to show you which ones that I use so that I do not butcher the names. I respect the culture too much, so just refer to the description box below. And to prepare the chiles, I like to cut them open and to remove any of the seeds that are on the inside. Again, I'm not a heat person, but if you like a little heat, you can leave the seeds if you like. Off camera, I will boil these for about 15 minutes or so until they're softened. Next, I am getting ready to put the ingredients in the slow cooker. I am adding about 2 cups of beef broth. Also adding a little apple cider vinegar, about a half a cup or so. A couple of cubes of beef bouillons. Here we're going to add our browned chuck roast. Now we're going to prepare our chile base for the consummate. That's the dipping sauce. And again, I boiled the chiles for about 15 minutes or so. Here I am adding a large carrot chopped roughly and half a red onion. You can use a yellow onion if you like. I'm adding oregano, thyme, And again, all of the exact measurements will be in the description box below, just in case you're wondering. A little bit of cinnamon. This recipe does call for a cinnamon stick. I did not have any, so I just put a dash inside of my chile base for the consomme. Fire roasted tomatoes. I like the garlic flavor. And I added 1 cup of water. A little bit of cloves. And minced garlic. I gave it a little taste just to make sure it was well seasoned. It was not. It was lacking salt. So I added a pack of Sazon. Here, just adding a little bit more flavor, garlic pepper. And giving it one more blend before adding it to the slow cooker. The next step is to strain your chile base for your consomme. I am not going to lie, this step is tedious and takes a lot of time. However, if you want a silky smooth consomme, this step is important. I've skipped this step before and my consomme turned out just fine, but this extra step just really takes it an extra mile. Once your chile base is nice and strained, you can go ahead and put the lid on it, add a couple of bay leaves, and slow cook it for 5 hours. Or more if you have time. So this is about after 5 hours or so. It should be falling apart. Just use a fork to test the tenderness of the meat. If it's not falling apart, let it stay for another hour or so. The next step is to just strain the meat, remove it from the consomme. And once you remove everything, you should be able to shred your chuck roast without a knife, without a fork. I'm literally just using my spatula to separate the chuck roast. It should be that tender. And this recipe is actually foolproof because this is the point where you can taste your chuck roast to see if it's seasoned just right. And if it's not, you can always add a little of what you think is missing just to make it perfect. In preparation of making our ramen noodles, I am using the Tapatio brand. I searched high and low for these noodles, so if you can't find them, just use the regular beef ramen. I am using a half a cup of the consomme to add to the base of this, and then filling the rest up with water to the line. In preparation of making our tacos, we're going to use Chihuahua cheese. And we're going to heat our skillet with a little bit of olive oil. If you skip the olive oil, the tortilla just might stick. So I recommend this step if you don't want your tortillas to stick. Dip your corn tortilla in the consomme. Do not saturate it, just dip it just so it's barely covering the shell. Allow the tortilla to fry for about 2 to 3 minutes just to make sure that the tortilla is sturdy for manipulating, because they will tear if you do not let it cook long enough. And then once it's done on that side, you'll flip it and start layering your taco. I like to start first with a layer of Chihuahua cheese. Then I add the chuck roast. Off camera, I already chopped my red onion and cilantro, so just add a little bit of that. And then top it off with another layer of cheese. Once all of the ingredients had settled on the tortilla, go ahead and fold it in half. If you're an expert, you can go ahead and fold it without any assistance. I need to use the side of the skillet just to make sure the ingredients stay inside of the tortilla. This also makes room in the skillet for a second tortilla, so I'm going to go ahead and repeat the previous steps. It's at this point where you can decide when to remove your tacos from your skillet. I like for my cheese to be golden brown and my shell to be super crispy, so I leave mine in the skillet for a little while until I'm sure that it's crispy. Once your tacos are to your liking, you want to set them aside on a paper towel. Now, after following the regular instructions for the ramen, you're going to go ahead and add your ingredients. So we're going to put a little bit of the chuck roast in there. I like to add cheese. Same thing that you put inside of the taco, you put inside of the ramen. And there you have it. You have Quesa Birria tacos with Tapatio Ramen Noodle. Let's get into it, guys. Let's take a look at this cheese pool. If you layer it like I did, it'll come out just like this. And as always, I hope you enjoyed this recipe, and thanks for watching.